$2 bills. It is widely believed that $2 bills are no longer printed. However, this is just not true. Moreover, if you take a bill like this right now, there is a good chance that it will be one of those that you're about to see in this video. Let's see how $2 bills are made. The method used is known as intaglio. The ink is applied to the mold, leaving it only in the incisions. The paper is lowered on the mold and pressed with a heavy roller, and the ink is transferred to its surface. If you compare the printing of a $2 bill with bills of a different denomination, you'll see that there's much more engraving. Therefore, there is nothing surprising in the fact that the creation process of the bill begins with the creation of the mold. Before using the mold, it needs to be inspected. This work is done manually by a specially trained person who examines each line under a microscope. The paper used to make the bills is a complex product, composed of 75% cotton fiber. The remaining 25% is flax fiber. The equipment you see on the screen produces up to 10,000 sheets per hour. During the production process, the reverse side of the bill is printed first, as most of the details are there. The bill is then left to dry for 72 hours. Only after that, the front side is printed. Paintbrushes. These painting tools can be made of a wide variety of materials, both natural and artificial. Every artist chooses which brushes to use. It's noteworthy that paintbrushes are mostly made by hand. The brushes that you see on the screen are made from the fur of the tail of a Siberian weasel. The work begins by collecting bundles of hair and passing them through a ferrule made of nickel-plated brass. It's important to check how tightly the hair fits in the ferrule. If it's too tight, some hairs are removed. If, on the contrary, it's too loose, the worker adds more hair. It's noteworthy that the different brushes require different tensions. This mold allows the worker to evenly distribute the hairs, and these templates are used to adjust the length of the brush head. Once the hairs have the right length and shape, the ferrule is filled with epoxy glue. It will hold the hair in place. Finally, the dried brush is lowered into a mixture of water and starch. Once the brush is of a pointed shape, the special mix will fix the hairs in place. At the same time, the handles are made and dyed in an automated process. Birch wood is used for the handles. Once the paint is dried out, it remains to stamp on the surface and join the two parts together. Mountain bike tires. These tires are different from others in that they are wider. You can also find a deep tread on their surface, which improves the grip and therefore the stability of the bike. The creation of these tires begins with the design of the future tread pattern. If we take a look at the factory, we will see that all begins with the raw materials, more exactly a variety of rubber compounds that are mixed together to create different parts of the tires. Sulfur and other chemicals are added to synthetic and natural rubber. Special industrial mixers break the materials, mix them, heat them up, and make them soft. The final result is a rubber compound that looks a little like dough. Powerful rollers squeeze it to form thin sheets. The procedure is then repeated several times until the sheets become thicker. Here you can see how the metal part of the tire that holds the wheel is made. After all the components of the future tyre are ready, the worker begins to assemble it with the help of special equipment. At this stage, the materials are sticky, so the layers can be easily connected to each other. So, as you can see, a tyre is a multi-layer product. After the vents in the rubber have been made, the future tyre is sent to this machine. It stretches the material and gives it the required shape. In these molds, the tyres are processed with heat and pressure to create the tread. Clay targets. Skeet shooting is a sport where participants shoot at special targets. They're thrown into the air by hand or by using a special machine. The targets are made of a mixture of bitumen pitch and cement or talcum powder. We're going to show you the production process. The targets have many different diameters, which makes it easier or harder to hit them. Anyway, it all starts here with talcum powder, which is brought to the factory at a temperature of 80 degrees Celsius. The bitumen pitch also arrives heated at a temperature of 200 degrees Celsius. The materials are mixed together in a huge industrial mixer. To ensure that the temperature doesn't drop during this process, they use oil that's heated to 265 degrees Celsius. It circulates through the pipes located around the mixer. This process turns the raw materials into a paste-like mass. It's then poured in special molds. In the next step, the molds are pressed and the paste takes the form of the target. Now, all that remains is to let them dry and harden. And of course, the target is then decorated with paint made in a special mixer. The target is in the oven for 30 seconds, and that's enough to dry the paint. Collagen drink. Abalone is a whole class of gastropods. Since ancient times, people have eaten them and made jewelry and decorative objects using their shells. In modern times, though, a more useful application has been found for them. Today, they're used as a source of collagen. In case you don't know, collagen is a protein responsible for the elasticity and durability of our bodies. Whole abalone colonies are grown on farms like this, where their natural habitat is imitated. Their food looks like this. It consists mostly of algae. The water is also constantly circulating. It's purified and also saturated with oxygen, which is necessary for the shellfish to live. Here, abalone spend the first 7 to 12 months of their lives. After that, they're considered adults and therefore are sent to the factory. Specially trained workers separate the mollusks from the shells. The mollusks are then processed in an industrial blender. Then the mass spends about a week in the fridge to make the collagen. The last step is mixing it with fruit juice, for example, to produce a nutrient drink. The liquid is then heated to kill any pathogens, and only then, finally, the product is bottled and sent to the stores. Hey, stop being lazy, it's time to use that brain of yours. Welcome to Brain Time. Incredible facts from the past, the present, and even the future. The power of nature and wild animals, amazing facts and unsolved mysteries. You'll find all this and much more here. Subscribe now, you won't regret it.